The prisoner in the dark. The rescue ship Vigilant Dawn was silent. It floated near the edge of an abandoned star system. Cold, dead, empty. Captain Dorn stared at the screen in front of him. A small pod had been found drifting near a ruined space station. No signal, no ID tag, just silence. "Should we bring it in?" his second officer asked. Dorn didn't answer for a moment. Then he said, "Yes, but keep weapons ready." The pod was old, burned, cracked down one side. A faint mist leaked from its seams as the ship's crew cut it open. They expected a body. Instead, they found her. A girl, or something like a girl. She had pale skin, almost white. Her clothes were torn. Her long black hair was tangled, floating in the pod's air. Her eyes were shut. Her chest barely moved. Alive, but only just. One of the medics leaned in. "Captain, this isn't human." They carried her to the medbay. The scanners had no match for her biology. Her heartbeat was slow, one beat every 20 seconds. Her teeth were sharp, too sharp. One crew member backed away. "Sir, this thing has fangs." Dorn gave the order. "Lock her in containment, full stasis field." They placed her in the lowest level of the ship, inside a sealed room behind 2 energy barriers. No light, just machines. Hours passed. She didn't move. Until she did. It was Officer Corrin's turn to monitor the cell. He sat alone in the dark control room, watching her on the screen. She opened her eyes. They were red, glowing like fire. Corrin stood up. He leaned toward the screen. She didn't move, didn't speak. Then slowly, she turned her head and looked directly at the camera. Corrin froze. She couldn't see the camera. Could she? The speaker crackled. A voice came through. Soft. Whispered. "I know you're watching." Corrin stepped back. He pressed the comm. "Captain, she's awake. And talking." "Talking how?" "Through the system," Corrin said. "No mech, no signal. Just inside." Dorn's voice came through. "Stay calm. Don't speak to her." But Corrin didn't listen. He pressed the mech button. "Who are you?" Her voice answered, low and hollow. "Hungry." Corrin blinked. "You want food." "No," she whispered. "Blood." That word made the room go cold. Corrin stood still. He could hear her breathing now, slow and deep. "I won't take it," she said. "Not unless it's given." The door behind Corrin hissed open. A captain stepped in, armed. "Back away," he ordered. "Now." Corrin obeyed. Dorn looked at the screen. "We don't feed prisoners." Later, in the command center, the crew talked in low voices. "She's a vampire." No such thing. She was floating in deep space for who knows how long. She should be dead. In her cell, she sat still. Eyes closed. Breathing slower. Slower. Dying. Corrin returned to the camera room alone that night. He sat in silence, watching her fade. She opened her eyes one last time. "You feel it, don't you?" she whispered. "The pull." He didn't answer. "You want to know what I am. You want to know what I feel." Corrin's hand hovered over the release button. He was sweating. "Let me speak to you," she said. "Not through walls. Just once." He didn't open the door, but he opened his heart and whispered, "If I give you what you need, what will you give me in return?" Her answer was soft, strange, a piece of forever. She hadn't moved in hours. Inside the cold cell deep below Vigilant Dawn, the alien girl sat still, eyes closed, hands on her knees. Her breathing was shallow, fading. The medic said she would die soon. Her body was shutting down. They offered her nutrient packs, energy liquids, plasma substitutes. She refused them all. "She doesn't want food," one officer whispered. "She wants blood." Captain Dorn didn't reply. He simply looked at the screen. Let her die, he said at last. But someone else couldn't look away. Corin sat alone outside her cell. The security glass between them was thick, reinforced, safe. She lay on the floor now, too weak to sit. Her skin looked even paler. Her lips were cracked. Still, she hadn't attacked. Not once. He pressed the intercom button. "You can hear me, right?" She didn't open her eyes, but she answered, "Yes. Why won't you take what we give you?" "Because it isn't life." "You mean blood." "No," she whispered. "I mean willingness." Corin frowned. "You need permission. If I take without it, I become like them. I don't want to be like them." He sat in silence. Then slowly he pulled off his glove. He stared at his palm. Human. Warm. Then he whispered, "I'll give it." She opened her eyes. For the first time, he saw fear in them. "You don't know what you're offering." "Maybe not," he said, "but you're dying. And I can't watch you die." He entered the security code. The door opened with a hiss. The room was cold. Too cold. He stepped inside. One step, then another. She didn't move. He knelt beside her and offered his wrist. "I trust you." Her eyes locked with his. She reached out with shaking hands, held his wrist like it was glass. Then she bit. He gasped. It didn't hurt, not like he expected. It felt warm, deep, like fire spreading through his veins. He saw flashes, her memories, a burning city, a glass temple, a sky filled with black ships. She pulled away after only a few seconds. Her fangs glistened. Her lips trembled. Then she did something he never expected. She wept. Tears ran down her cheeks. "You tasted like light," she whispered. "I forgot what light was." He pressed his back to the wall, breathing hard. "You didn't take much. You gave it. That's enough." That night, Corin didn't sleep. He saw her memories in dreams. He felt her pain. And somewhere deep inside, he felt her voice, still there, whispering, not as a threat, but as a bond. In the morning, the medics scanned him. "Your blood pressure's normal," they said. "But your cells, something's changed." Corin stayed quiet. He returned to her cell. She was standing now, stronger, calmer. "Do you have a name?" he asked. "Sail." She placed her hand on the glass between them, not asking for more, just offering connection. Then the alarm rang. An urgent voice echoed through the halls. Unidentified ship approaching. No response to hails. Corin looked at Sail. Her face went pale. "They found me." The warning lights flashed red. An unknown ship was approaching fast. No ID. No response. No name. Captain Dorn stood on the bridge, fists clenched. "Shields up. Lock everything down." Down below, in the dark hallway near Cell 9, Corin stood with Sail. She didn't run. She didn't hide. She simply whispered, "It's them." "Who?" Corin asked. "The ones who made me this way," she said. "They feed without feeling. Kill without care. I was like them. Once." Her voice broke. "But your blood changed me." Corin touched his chest. He had been feeling strange since the moment she bit him. He could hear better, see sharper, feel more. Even now, as the alarms blared, his heart stayed calm. Too calm. Sail stepped closer to the glass between them. "Your blood is full of emotion," she said. "Fear, hope, pain. It's alive. I didn't just drink it. I kept a piece of it inside me." Corin blinked. "What does that mean?" She gave a small smile. "I felt warm, just for a moment. It made me remember who I was, before I became what they turned me into." Suddenly, Corin gasped. He staggered back, clutching his side. His veins glowed faint red. He fell to one knee. "What's happening to me?" Sail placed her hand on the glass. You're changing, just a little. My gift is inside you now. Medical alarms beeped. Corin's body was stabilizing, but something was different. His cells were evolving, not dying, not mutating, strengthening. Sail looked away. They'll feel it soon, she said. They'll know what I've done. Corin stood up, wiping sweat from his brow. And what did you do? She hesitated, then whispered, I gave you more than blood. I gave you part of me. On the bridge, the enemy ship drew closer. It was black and silent, like it had grown from the dark itself. No weapons were visible, but the crew could feel it, a hunger pressing against the hull. They're scanning the ship, the tech officer said, but they're not looking for us. Dorn stared at the screen. Then what are they looking for? In the medbay, Corin's eyes suddenly flashed red. Just for a second, then dimmed. He turned to Sail. I think I can hear them. She nodded. They are linked by thought. Hunger connects them. But you have something they don't. What? Emotion, memory, fire. You feel before you feed. Corin sat down beside her glass wall. I don't know what I'm becoming. She knelt on the other side. Something better. Just then, the ship jolted. The lights flickered. The enemy vessel had latched onto Vigilant Dawn. No shots fired. Just pressure, like a mouth closing over prey. The captain shouted, seal all decks. Prepare for boarders. But down below, Sail said something no one expected. Let me out. Corin stared at her. They'll kill you. She looked into his eyes. I'm not afraid to die. Not if I die as myself. Not as a monster. Corin reached for the release panel. His hand shook. Not from fear, but from something else. Belief. She placed her hand on the glass one more time. He placed his over it. No blood. No pain. Just understanding. Then he opened the door. Captain Dorn stared at the enemy ship on the screen. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. But everyone on the bridge could feel it. Like it was listening. Then the message came through. Not as sound, but as thought. A voice in Dorn's head. She is ours. Return her, or be erased. Dorn stepped back, face pale. She really is one of them. He gave the order. Kill the girl. In the cell, Sail stood quietly. She felt it before the words were even spoken. She whispered, they've given up on me. Corin stared at her. No, not all of us. An alert flashed on the wall. CEL termination protocol in 60 CTONDS. The door behind Corin hissed. 2 armed guards rushed in. Step away from the prisoner. Corin didn't move. Are you deaf, officer? She's a threat. He turned slowly. So am I. One of the guards raised a weapon. Corin struck first. Fast. Too fast. He didn't even feel himself move. His hand just lashed out and knocked the weapon across the room. The second guard grabbed for Sail. Corin blocked him. This time, the glow returned to his eyes. Red and gold. Not hers. His. In less than 10 seconds, both guards were unconscious. Alarms screamed through the hallway. Emergency lofthiki demon. Sail looked at him, wide-eyed. You're changing faster than I thought. I don't care, he said. Let's go. They ran. Through the lower corridors, past storage rooms, into the maintenance shaft. Corin knew the ship well. He'd mapped every corner in his head. He didn't take her toward the escape pods. He took her somewhere no one would expect. The old cargo bay. It was freezing, silent, filled with broken crates and leftover metal. Sail stumbled and dropped to her knees. Her skin was going pale again. I gave too much, she whispered. Corin knelt beside her. He took off his coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. You saved me, he said. Now I return it. She looked at him, truly looked at him. You should have been afraid of me. Why weren't you? He answered softly. Because you were more human than most humans I've met. Above them, the ship shook. The enemy vessel had begun boarding. Silent black machines were cutting through the outer hull. Sale looked up. They're coming for the core inside me. Corin's eyes narrowed. Then we protect it. He stood and touched the wall. His hand burned, literally glowed. For a moment, the old security panel came to life. Sale blinked. You did that. I don't know how, he said, but it felt right. She smiled faintly. You're not human anymore. But you're still you. The door closed behind them. Locked. They had bought some time. Corin sat beside her on the cold floor. No more running for now. No more pretending. Just two souls in the dark. I don't think I'm ready to be what you are, he whispered. You're not, she said. And that's why you'll be better. He looked at her. Her eyes no longer glowed with hunger. They glowed with something else. Hope. Above them, the Soon cut through steel. Below them, in the cargo bay, a bond stronger than blood was forming. Not because of fear, not because of power, but because he chose her, when no one else would. The ship trembled. In the sky above vigilant dawn, the black vessel hung like a shadow with teeth. The Soon had arrived. No weapons fired, no signals sent, but everyone on the bridge felt it. Terror, like a cold hand squeezing the heart. In the cargo bay below, Sal's breathing grew shallow. They're close, she whispered. Corin stood near the sealed door, watching the blinking security panel. Who are they, Sale? She looked at him. Her voice was soft but steady. The Soon were once like me. Feeders. Ancient. Proud. But they cut away everything that made them feel. No more love. No more pain. Only power. She pointed to her chest. They made me as a weapon. A test. Could a hybrid feel? And still survive? I was the answer they didn't want. Corin's hands curled into fists. They used you. And now they want to erase me. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A deep hum echoed through the walls. Low. Vibrating. Alive. Corin stepped forward. From the ceiling, a hole was being burned. A black metal spike pierced through the floor above. Then another. And another. They're breaching, Corin said. Sale stood slowly. I'll face them. No, Corin said. Not alone. He reached out, and the moment his hand touched hers, something pulsed between them. A soft flash of light. Her red glow and his golden fire merged. Sale blinked. You've already changed more than I thought. Corin nodded. Maybe that's what they fear. Then the ceiling tore open. 3 Soon dropped down. Tall, smooth-skinned, faceless, moving like liquid shadows. They didn't speak with words. They spoke into the mind. You carry the traitor. Surrender her. Corin stepped forward. She's not yours. The lead Soon tilted its head. You are infected. The bond must be burned. Sale stepped between them. No, she said aloud. He's not infected. He's evolving. The Soon raised an arm. Energy formed in its hand, a cold light that twisted the air. But before it could strike, Corin moved. Fast, blinding. He was no longer just human. His fist hit the Soon like a meteor. The creature flew backward, crashing into the wall. The other two attacked together. Corin ducked, spun, his eyes burning gold. Sale backed away, watching him fight. Each move was faster, sharper, impossible. You're becoming more than both of us, she whispered. One Soon tried to reach her, but Sale raised her hand, and for the first time since she woke up, she fed. Not on blood, but on fear. The Soon screamed, a silent scream, then turned to ash. The other two stepped back. They were no longer hunters. They were afraid. What are you? One of them asked. Corin stood between them, breathing slow. eyes glowing like fire and stars. I'm the one she chose, and that means I'm everything you're not. The Soon vanished in a blink of black smoke. Retreating, beaten, Sail collapsed to her knees. Corin caught her. I told you, he whispered. You're not alone. Her hand touched his chest. You were never just prey, she said softly. You're the light I was starving for. And then she passed out in his arms. Above them, the black ship turned away. But the message was clear. They would return. But next time, they wouldn't just face her. They would face him. Sail lay still in Corin's arms. Her skin, once glowing pale, was now turning cold again. The fire in her chest, flickering. She had fought. She had protected him. She had faced her creators. And now she was fading. Corin looked down at her, heart racing. Sail, stay awake. Her lips moved, just a whisper. I don't have much left. No, Corin said. You're not leaving me now. He carried her out of the broken cargo bay and into the engine core room. It was the warmest place on the ship, a quiet space. She opened her eyes slowly. You're stronger now, she said softly. Stronger than I ever was. He shook his head. Because of you. She smiled faintly. Then let me finish what I started. She sat up with effort, placed her hand over his heart. The moment her skin touched him, his chest burned, glowed red and gold. I'm giving you the last of my power, she whispered. It's not just energy. It's memory, identity, fire. Corin grabbed her wrist. If you give it, you'll die. I know. I can't lose you. You never will. She leaned her forehead against his. I'll still be with you, in every heartbeat. Then she let go. A surge of light burst between them. The floor cracked. The walls shook. The power grid overloaded. Every screen on the ship went white. The crew scrambled as systems rebooted themselves, reacting to something they didn't understand. Something alive inside the ship now. Corin screamed, but it wasn't pain. It was becoming. He saw visions. Kara's memories. Not just hers, but his own, through her eyes. Every word, every choice, every moment they had shared, now one flame. When it ended, he stood alone in the center of the core room, shaking, glowing, changed. His skin still looked human, but energy danced across his arms like fire under glass. His heartbeat had doubled, but it didn't feel out of control. It felt right. And then he realized she was gone. He dropped to his knees. The scarf she always wore, the only thing left. He held it tightly. Then her voice echoed softly inside him. Not in his ears, in his soul. You're not alone, Corin. You carry me now. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. The Soon had returned. They came faster this time. Harder. Smarter. Corin rose to his feet. Calm. Clear. Alive with more than just anger. The Soon entered the hallway in silence. 5 this time. Each stronger than before. They moved like smoke and metal. One stopped when it saw him. She is gone. You cannot survive without her. Corin stepped forward, his voice steady. You're wrong. He lifted his hand, and golden red light erupted from his palm. She isn't gone. She lives in me. The Soon attacked. Blades formed from their arms. Corin moved like lightning. He didn't block. He burned. Every strike that touched him melted. Every step they took toward him turned to dust. One by one, they fell. Not from violence, but from something deeper, from what they couldn't feel. When it was over, only ash remained, and Corin stood in the silence, wrapped in her scarf, and glowing with the light of 2 souls. Somewhere, far away, a signal had been sent, and someone was listening. The stars were quiet again. The black ship of the Soon was gone, torn apart by its own silence. and vigilant Dawn floated in orbit like a survivor still catching its breath. But Corin stood alone. He walked slowly through the quiet halls, boots echoing on metal floors. The lights flickered back to normal. No more alarms, no more enemies, but something else had faded too. Her. He stepped into the old engine room, where the glow first took him. The scarf was still there. Soft, still warm, like her memory hadn't cooled yet. Corin picked it up, wrapped it gently around his hand, and sat on the floor. "I kept my promise," he whispered. "I didn't let them take you." He remembered her voice, always soft, always watching. Her first words, "I won't feed without permission." Her last words, "You carry me now." And she was right, because she was still in him. The power hadn't faded. It was part of his bones now, his breath, his blood. But it didn't feel like a curse. It felt like connection. Later, when the crew returned and found him there, they didn't speak at first. They saw the ash, the melted walls, the signs of something impossible, and they looked at Corin differently. Captain Dorn approached. "I ordered her death," he said quietly. Corin didn't look at him. "I know." Dorn sighed. "I thought she was the monster." Corin finally turned. She was the one thing in this galaxy that still believed in mercy. A few days later, Earth Command sent a message. The story had reached them, about the alien vampire who didn't kill, about the human who gave her a chance, about the Soon and their defeat. They wanted answers. Corin sent only one thing, a transmission. "She came to us hungry. We feared her, but she gave more than she ever took. She gave me herself, and through that, we found something stronger than blood. We found trust." He ended the message with a simple line. "If you ever face the dark, be the one who offers light." Months passed. Corin stayed on the ship, quiet, watching the stars. But stories began to spread, of a man with fire in his chest, of someone who fought shadow with feeling, of someone who didn't kill to win, but who protected something that couldn't protect itself. And in time, they gave him a name. The Starborn Flame. Some said he was no longer human. Others said he was more human than anyone alive. But only a few knew the truth. That he carried the memory of a girl who had once been feared, and had chosen, instead, to love. One night, Corin stood at the edge of the observation deck. The stars moved slowly. He touched the glass, and for just a moment, the scarf on his wrist glowed. Her voice, soft and warm, returned. "You became the fire I never had. And now the galaxy won't forget." Corin smiled, not because he won, but because she lived. Not in shadows, not in fear, but in legend. The end.